Welcome back, y'all, to the Oasis Podcast. Thank you for joining me again on another episode. I am grateful for your subscribers, those who are listening regularly, sending me comments, thoughts, and reviews. I really appreciate that. So I've literally been trying to record this one episode for like an hour and I just keep getting interrupted every time I start. And so I was like, maybe the universe doesn't want me to record this. But I'm here, so I'm going to do it. But I've literally been trying to record this particular episode for a little while, maybe a few weeks, honestly. There's a lot going on. Oh gosh. But anyway, how are you guys? How is everything? There's a lot going on in the world right now. So much. Like, I can't even begin to talk about all the stuff that's happening, but I'll try. This is going to be another solo episode. And I'm kind of changing up the schedule that I had releasing episodes. I had some things pre-recorded. I had things all set up, but I feel like I need to drop this particular episode because it's needed, honestly. But for me, like, I just felt like I need to just talk and get some ish out there. Yeah, like I said, when I first started the podcast, I actually went back and listened to the first 2 episodes. I was just like, oh, look at that. A whole year plus later, I'm still doing this. I'm proud of myself. But it was good to go back and think about, or hear rather, like, again, why I started it. And it's true. This is a space for me to have intentional conversation, of course, with those dope ass people that I'm surrounded by. But also, it's kind of cathartic for me to kind of like get things out there, to talk and release. So I am getting back to that space. And so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna just do it. Release this episode, get the thoughts and feelings out, let the listeners know what's happening and going on with me, as opposed to trying to just be stuck and fixated and like, oh no, I have a schedule and so I have to, release things as, in a particular way rather. So I've been doing this for how long now? The past month or so. By the time you guys get this though, I don't know how old this episode is going to be. It's probably going to be maybe a week or 2 past. Depends on, I might release it soon. So maybe a week or so after I actually recorded it. Whereas some of the other episodes might be a little bit older, but I've been for the past few weeks just ripping the band-aid off, as I would call it. And so I'm just gonna rip it off now. I am single again, and so yes, me and my partner have broken up. Rather, I've chosen to exit the relationship. It wasn't an easy decision. It's not something that I took lightly at all, but I felt like it was the best decision for me. It was the best decision to be made. I can't talk for him, even though I do feel it's the best decision for us. But again, I couldn't speak for myself. And I don't regret the decision. But of course, regardless if you're the one who broke up with someone, or someone you're broken up with, or if it was a great decision, the relationship was toxic or great, whatever, you still grieve. And so I've been taking some time to kind of grieve the relationship before kind of like letting people know what's been going on. I mean, I've let people know only when they've asked. So like, they're like, oh, where's such and such, or then I'll be like, hey, this is what it is. Whereas in the past, I've kind of like, I would sit on it for like months, literally, and say nothing and act like things are okay. And I know why. That was for me. That was kind of part of my pride and ego. And I didn't want people to know that I failed at something. But I'm grown now. And shit happens. And that's just life. So I'm not going to be ashamed of the fact that we're no longer together. I think he's a great guy. I still think he is a great guy. It's just I don't feel we were compatible. there were just a lot of things, not a lot of things, but there were a few things that, from the inception of us being together. So we were together about almost 10 months, but we had known each other or been in each other's lives for almost a year. So, it was a good amount of time that passed. However, for me, I felt like it was enough time to know if something was for me, if it was the right fit. And I wasn't, as time was progressing, I was I felt going in the opposite direction, where I should have been feeling more secure and comfortable in a relationship. I started feeling more insecure about it based off of certain things. And of course, you only get to know people through experiences and actually dealing with things with them and seeing how they deal with things. And as things was going along, my spirit just wasn't sitting well with a lot of things. And honestly, it was the same things that when I felt when I started the dynamic. So, can't blame nobody but myself here. I knew there was things that didn't sit well with me or kind of rubbed me wrong. And I did talk about it. I brought it up. We talked about it. Said to sit on it, right? We were getting to know each other. And to see, things might change or if feelings might feel different. But I knew that deep inside that it's just what it was what it was, But again, I'm not gonna bash. I still think he's a good guy. And I think we're working on some type of friendship. I don't know. But I am grateful for the relationship because I did, of course, everyone says this, but it's the fact, and you should hopefully say this honestly after a breakup. But I learned a lot, and I learned a lot about myself. I realized that year I spent single, and then when I met him though, I was fresh off of talking to somebody. We were not together. And that shit fucked me up, and I'm not even gonna lie. That little span of me talking to this individual, because that person was just that toxic. Literally, probably the first time in my life I've encountered someone that was literally just a dark cloud. Literally, from the moment they entered my life, it was just a dark cloud, and the moment they left, it took some time. I felt relieved, of course, but it took time for me to get out of that space. And I ended up meeting my current, ex around that time after. And I wasn't fully out of that space. So I took a lot of that negativity and just pent up, just being upset that I allowed this person to get into my space and really affect me the way it did. And I had walls up. It was just a lot. And I learned from that of course, don't do that again. But I also learned, despite that dynamic happening prior to me meeting my ex, that I grew for sure, but you won't know how much you grow until you're actually in a relationship. Even though I dated, I felt different than actually being in a relationship. I think you experience things differently. And you just navigate things different. When you dating somebody, it's I like this person. We get to know that person. All right, you might take heed to their feelings and emotions, and you might take certain precautions, but you don't really have to. And that's a kind of a luxury that I kind of didn't realize. Not didn't realize, but I didn't really gauge how much of a choice that was. And so when I got into the relationship, my mindset was kind of still there. I was I care about you. I care about you. We're together. You were here. But it's ooh, those feelings, you should work on that. And I wasn't as connected as I should have been in regards to that. It's a lot of stuff. Like I said, I'm not a bad guy. I'm not saying anything particular thing is his fault or anything like that at all. It's just I had to honor myself. I had to reflect. I had to be real to me and ask myself several questions. And I the answers that I came to weren't in the same aligning with my future goals, aligning with what I wanted, nor was it aligning with the intention I had coming into the relationship. So I had to be real. And though it was hurtful, it was painful, I'd rather it happen now than waiting for X amount of time to pass and life gets really real. And now we're in a way, I mean, you're never really quote unquote stuck with someone, but I don't take commitments lightly. So for me, feeling stuck and then having to do it then, because it'll hurt way more then. So that's just that. So that's that. So I've been grieving the relationship. I've been trying to figure out my next moves in regards to dating. So I decided, I was going to take some time to myself, of course, to figure out, sort some things out, sort some feelings out. But like in the beginning of the year, I had kind of already given myself, or already made a proclamation, like, yo, I'm fit to have fun. I want to have fun. Last year, I did all this adulting, and I don't want to do it this year. But of course, we don't got those choices. But as much as I can have fun, I wanted to have fun. And so I'm still in that mindset, like, yo, I want to live life. I want to have fun. I just want to laugh. I want to be happy. I don't want to be surrounded by sadness. I don't want to be surrounded by just things that just, I don't know, innately don't feel good to me. And a big part of that is who you surround yourself with. But it's also your mindset. And so I want to be really mindful and intentional about making sure I have fun, because that is the theme for my year, right? Refinding my joy. And again, I say refinding, but in all honesty, I'm not sure I ever found my joy. I think I found my happiness. And I learned to be content in that whole year of being single. I literally found happiness. And so I live in that space regardless of what happens. I'm happy, And of course, we have moments of sadness and things happen. But underlyingly, I feel happy because I know what happiness is for my life, right? But joy is something that I feel like has eluded me for a long time or forever. And maybe there was some point that I had it and I just didn't realize it. But I want to refine that. And I need to be surrounded by people who understand that, who understands that importance of joy. And I want to remain in that mindset. But I also want to make sure that I do the work I need to do for myself. Make sure I'm not trying to find this joy in unhealthy spaces or places or people. So I gave myself and been giving myself that time and to really just collect my thoughts and cry and whatever. Just feel what I'm feeling as opposed to burying it like some people like to do and numbing themselves. And I felt like I did a lot of numbing last year for some strange reason. But not strange reason, of course. But, I want to work through the feelings and get past them. And I'm way better now than I was when I first started. Of course, the grieving process, even though it was like a good decision for me, I was just a mess. I was just crying. I felt so guilty. It was just so much. And even through all that, I still felt like it was the right decision, I don't think my ex made it easy for me either. Not to say he was trying to be a jackass, but it was just a lot of emotion that he was pouring into the interactions we were having that I just couldn't deal with. And being that I was single now, I was just like, I don't want to deal with anyone else's emotions. And so I didn't want to deal with it. And I felt like I had the right not to have to deal with it. And so creating that proper boundary was difficult. But once I was able to do that and really just be selfish for myself, with myself, I'm better, but still have days. Kind of right before this taping of this episode, I had like a little sad moment, whatever. Just so much, Lord. So much is going on. Ooh, Lord. I've had so many people from my past who's just wanted to resurface these past few months. So dealing with that, putting up again healthy and proper boundaries for those people, and that dark ass cloud that was present like early last year before I met my ex. That motherfucker, decided he wanted to be apologetic. No, stay your ass where you at. Like, so it's just like, yeah, the fact that, and that's why I block people. I'm a believer of blockage. You know what I'm saying? Even though they'll find you if they really want to, but you make it a little harder. You know what I'm saying? Because people decide that they want to insert themselves into your life whenever the hell they feel like it, and they just fuck up all your energy. And that shit ain't cool. I don't like it. It's not fair. It's not fun. And this person did that. And so regardless if you want to think about them or not, the fact that they intercept and they just throw their ass into your life, it does, it causes your brain to go back to a space. And so also processing that, you know what I mean? And yeah, it's been a lot. So grieving, the relationship that I've lost, grieving, well, in a later episode, again, even though I did record it earlier in the year with Miss Keisha and I'm gonna go into more details about another ex that decided he wanted to rear his head with his nonsense. It's just been a lot. And then the lovely coronavirus that is out here in these streets. Oh, the world. It's just so much going on, and it's only like 3 months into the new year, and I'm just like, ugh, what the heck? Like, how do I navigate all these things to keep my sanity, to keep my actual mental health, physical health, emotional health, for those of us, financial health? Like, it's a lot, and when I was in that moment of singleness prior, I did a lot of seclusion, right? I secluded myself. I wanted to know how strong I was and how I can rely solely on myself. And I know I was strong, but that really showed me how really strong I was. This go around, I don't want to do that, because I've also learned the importance of having a support system and people around you. But of course, the coronavirus isn't helping with that. Because like, you can't be around people like that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to talk about the coronavirus a little bit later. But that makes it a little more difficult because I want to go out, right? I want to be out, and I just want to be around people. I just want to drink, or just be and dance and just be. But yeah, so the mayor and the governor has shut things down. Like, the shows I've had scheduled, I can't go to. Those are being postponed or canceled. Events that I had plans to go to. It's like, you're kind of forced to be in your house, well, work, and then home, you know what I mean? And I'm already a recluse as it is, and that's something that I have to fight through, even though I'm way better at it. But kind of forced to be in this space solo dolo, which not a big deal, but I get stir crazy after being in my home for more than like 2 days. So yeah, I have to figure out how to navigate this, because I want to be around people. I want to be able to talk to people, engage with people, even for short periods of time. But it's becoming increasingly more difficult, and they're kind of playing with your health, And so that's that. Just rip the band-aid off, y'all. That's what it is, And I'm grateful, though. I'm always thankful for those individuals who are in my life who just have helped me through things. But of course, I don't want to burden them. But they've allowed me the space to talk when I was ready to talk, and to allow me to be. And I appreciate that the most. And I didn't have to be anything but who I am. And that's what I appreciated. And I felt that wasn't fully who I got to be in my past relationship. So I appreciate that, if I was just there, and if I wanted to cry, I cried. If I wanted to laugh, we laughed. If I wanted to be silly, I was silly. If I wanted to act like a whole Brooklyn dude, like, they let me do that. If I wanted to be a little prissy queen, they let me do that. Like, I appreciate that. I appreciate those people who hadn't seen me for who I am, and really appreciate all those angles that I provide and give, and all those layers, because we're all multi-layered, you know. And I feel like that was something missing from my past relationship. I felt like I couldn't be my full self. I felt like, you know, and I also felt like he felt he couldn't be himself either. However, you know, again, I'm not sure if that's the impression I gave him. Maybe it is, or it was, though that wasn't the intention. But I felt that I gave the leeway, I gave the space, you know, I allowed him to hold that space. And I don't feel like I was given the same. I felt like I had to be strong. I felt like I had to hold ish together. Like, it was just, yeah. But anyway, moving forward, just trying to now navigate, right? Single over a month or so now, and I'm kind of in a space where I kind of don't like people, which has nothing to do with my ex, but just in general. And also, like, I want to go out and be social and talk to people and just be, but that's also increasingly difficult. I don't want to be on a dating app because that shit's annoying, even though dating is annoying as a whole, but I don't want to do that. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's all to my bestie, and that's another thing I appreciate. I know I can ask him anything and he'll give it to me straight. So I asked him, I was like, do you think I should start dating? And he was real with me, even though, like, and the crazy thing about it is we were along the same lines anyway. I gave him no indication of what I was thinking or what I wanted to do, but he pretty much said the same thing I was thinking. And it's like, he's like, nah, you know, like, take the time, at least another month, and enjoy the peace that you're in. And it's not, you're not dating because you're not ready or because you're too hurt, because that's not what he thought I was, which is also true. But it's like, enjoy the peace, you know, you relish and you enjoy your peace, and enjoy the time it's time and space that you're in where you don't have to care about somebody else's feelings. And I was just like, you know, you're right. This is why I love you. Because he's right, absolutely right. I literally had that conversation with myself, like, ugh, you really want to do this? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you want to be entertained, but entertainment brings annoyance. And I ain't fit to be annoyed right now. Like, I like just chilling, you know? Getting to know people's annoying. People are flaky. People are inconsistent. I remember what dating was like. It's not fun. It can be fun, but a majority of it is just annoying. And so you have to be mentally strong enough and equipped to just let it, you know, the nonsense glide over you. And, you know, I'm not in a rush. Honestly, there's no rush to anything at this point. So I'm cool with it. I'm just going to take the time to write it out. And I hope, you know, I do have my moments where I'm like, I want to, you know, do this. And I want to be like this and like that. But it's cool. I'm going to figure it out. And things will work out how it needs to work out. So, the coronavirus, y'all. So I am a public health professional. And people out here losing their minds. And I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, it's just a flu. It's not just nothing, because the flu kills people every year. Like, a lot of people. I'm not gonna be here and be like, oh, it's just. No, it's not just anything. Your health is not a game. It's not to be played with. There should be no sickness or illness that we take lightly because you have one body. You should take care of it. You should make sure that it's healthy and that nothing infects it, right? To affect it from working properly. With that being said, I don't understand why at this stage in the game we still have to tell people how to properly wash their hands, or to just wash it, period. You know what I mean? How to cover your cough, how to not do certain things. And that's the part that really, I think, irks me a little bit, is people are nasty. People are really, really freaking nasty. And I always get looked at like I have 3 heads, especially when I encounter people, dating and such. And I literally have to tell dudes, you coming in the house, whatever, we just came from outside, you coming through, cool. Say, and I watch to see what they do. A lot of people have no issues just coming straight from outside, out coveted outside. And they go and they just sit down and they on their phones. They go straight to eat. What are you doing? You're not gonna wash your hands? What? And that's one thing when you just out here just chilling in these streets. But then they coming over, you know what I'm saying? You guys made an appointment, you know what I mean? And they think they gonna step right from outside and just be touching you in all your intimate places and spaces. Ew, you were just on the train. I don't care if you were driving, you were just touching the steering wheel that you probably touched thousands of times without washing your hands. Why do you think it's okay to touch me? And then people get shocked and surprised when they get sick. Now, I'm a woman. And unfortunately for a woman, the way we're built, are vessels for disgustingness. I'm not playing those games. And then I get looked at like I got 3 heads because, I want you to wash your hands. Is your ass washed? You know what I mean? Wash your hands, wash your face. Just have proper hygiene, and that's the problem. A lot of people don't have proper hygiene. Now, there is a percentage of individuals that don't have access to certain things, and we need to be real about that. And that's across the world and in the U.S. They don't have access to certain things. They're just living a certain particular life, but they don't have access. That's different. However, I'm not talking about those individuals. I'm talking about those of us who do have it. You got it, and you just don't utilize it because for whatever reason, you don't think about it, or that's just not part of your regime. That's gross. And yes, I'm judging. I'm actually reading the book by Lovey. I forget the exact title, but I probably might talk about it in another podcast, but that shit's hilarious. And I feel like she's my spirit animal, and I love her because I used to say this and I say this, like, yes, I judge people. What the fuck? We are supposed to judge. This is how, as humans, as beings, we survive, through judgment. This is how our ancestors got us here, through judgment. Like, why is it that I'm not supposed to judge you? Now, I do say, though, it's what we do with those judgments that's important, how we treat people from those judgments. But there are some things that need to be judged and they need to be said, period. And so right now I'm judging, and people are nasty. Like, literally, coronavirus was the thing on the train. And this individual, and I'm not going to say what this individual's race was, sitting smack dab right next to somebody. I'm standing up by the doors. Proceeds to cough, mouth wide open. Didn't even try to cover their mouth. Why is that okay? Where is that okay? Is that not something that we learned at home? And if you didn't learn at home, then we learned it in school. You're a grown-ass man. That's nasty. And outside of that, it's flu season. Despite coronavirus, right? Let's remove coronavirus from the equation. It is flu season still. So these are precautions, y'all, we should have been taking regardless. Wipe down your phone, wipe down your keys, your AirPods, earphones, whatever you call them. Once you get in the crib, right? Wipe down things, wash your hands, wash your face, because we do touch our face a lot. So whatever stuff you had on your face from outside, just wash it off. And so then take off your clothes from outside. Don't sit on your shit, right? People come over, disinfect, Lysol up your couch, your bed, wipe down your bathroom, everything. This is stuff that's supposed to be on the regular. Because 1, is flu season. 2, people are nasty. So now we're throwing coronavirus in the mix. And yes, it's scary because it's new. And there's a lot of things about it that we don't know. And so that's what makes it scary. But the virus itself, the type of virus rather that it is. It's not new. Y'all, people die from the flu every day. It's a very real thing. So us being, as humans, being bombarded by bacteria and viruses, it's a regular thing. Your body literally is crawling with bacteria and shit now. You know that? It's called normal flora. And we're literally covered in bacteria. And this is why, another reason people should wash their hands and such, especially make sure your body is clean before you have sex. Because this is why us females, like I said, are vessels for the bullshit. People's men's or whomever you're having intercourse with, normal flora enters your body and your body goes bonkers and your pH gets thrown off. And this is why shit happens the way it happens. BV happens, bacterial vaginitis, yeast infection, whatever, right? This is why these things happen. Because we're covered in bacteria. We are a living thing, right? We're a living being. We are predators and we have predators, right? And there are also things that coexist with us, right? Bacteria, we need certain bacteria on our bodies, in our bodies to keep us healthy. Viruses are out here just trying to live, y'all. I know that sounds crazy, but it's a fact of the matter. Oh, you're a host. You're gonna keep me alive. You keep me going and fed for a little bit. Let me join this body here, and that's their whole point. All viruses, all bacteria, that is what their aim is. They're a living thing. They want to survive. That's what they do. Now it's up to you to make sure that I don't want all these extra shits in my system. So let me clean up. Let me make sure that I'm properly groomed, etc., etc. Whatever precautions you need to take to keep yourself healthy. And there's another piece about it. Our own personal hygiene. But it's also about caring about people outside of you, right? And not just family, not just friends, but other people. This is why things such as covering your mouth, sneezing and coughing into your elbow. This is why it's a thing. Hand sanitizer, washing your hands. It's not just about you. It's about protecting other people, right? This is why vaccines are created, and you can feel how you feel about vaccines. I have my thoughts and feelings about vaccines as well, but this is why such a thing as herd immunity is a thing, right? If a good amount of people get a vaccine and there's immunity, everyone doesn't need it now because a majority of people have it. So now everyone else is also protected, right? These are all public health thingies. Of course, a lot of people are not from that realm in the world, but there are basic things that I'm really baffled at that's not understood. And we all know how the current president is out here just spewing nonsense, and it's frustrating. The media isn't helping anything, and I think it's just growing fear. And it's not to say you shouldn't be afraid, but maybe not as afraid as we are. Take care of yourself. And that's also something that should be part of your self-care that you should be doing anyway, right? Especially, again, this is flu season. You should be up on your vitamins, up on your zinc, drinking your tea, making sure your body is as strong as possible. So that if you do get sick, which is a possibility, you're going to get sick with something, honestly. If you do, that your body can fight it off and that it doesn't kill you, right? And for a majority of people, you're going to be fine if you get it. You'll recover. But it's what precautions are you taking to protect other people and to make sure your body is as strong as possible, right? So just to leave you all off, it's just be mindful. Run when you're getting your information, because I've seen some things and I was just like, wait, what? No, don't do that. And don't share nonsense on social media, right? Don't believe everything you do read, right? There's reputable sources. Go straight to the CDC website, NYC.gov, right? You go straight to the Department of Health's website to get information. Don't just go some random link or whatever that someone is posting. Make sure that's a real site to get information. And just wash your hands, wash your face. Take the precautions I mentioned earlier. And if need be, stay your ass in the house. That's it. Like, I know it sucks, but you will be okay. You'll be all right. Not having to be around people for a little while. You'll be all right. And I feel like this thing is going to blow over soon. Honestly, Think about it. We had so many outbreaks: SARS, Ebola, swine flu, all kinds of stuff. And it came and it went. And this is going to be another thing that's going to come and go. It's just super scary right now. But we'll be okay. Just make sure those populations that are at high risk, so grandmas, grandpas, mama, papas, the kitties actually seem to be okay for some strange reason. But of course, still make sure that they're clean. Make sure that, they're not in harm's way. And those of us who have underlying issues such as asthma or just some type of your immune system is compromised for some reason, be careful. Especially also those who are smokers, you need to be very mindful as well with catching the virus, because it seems that's the population that is considered high risk and seems to be actually passing away from the virus. So just be mindful of that. Be careful. And I think we should be fine, just wash your hands, wipe down surfaces, and just don't have people around if you don't need to, and don't be around people if you don't need to be around them. We're gonna learn, one, the importance of having people around too, I think, but also how important it is to not have people around and to enjoy your own company and to stay in your own place and space. I know financially this is messing some people up, and that is truly unfortunate. But I think in the long run, a lot can be learned. A lot can be learned about this outbreak. And I mean, again, not to say that I'm not losing out here too because of this virus, because I am. Again, like I said, I can't be social. But I also had wanted to share, and I have actually been sharing on the Oasis Podcast Instagram about the Healing and Hope project that I will be doing a live podcast at, or was going to be doing a live podcast at. It's probably going to be, and from what I understand, it surely is going to be postponed. Not sure what the date is going to be. So once I hear more about that, I will definitely share some more information. But the Healing and Hope project was, created for us to just address, and it will be a day where we address loss, trauma, and community violence. And myself, as well as tons of other dope as professionals of color, we're going to get together and in our respective industries get together and help people, cope, help people heal from these things. And so I really hope that we get a date. Hopefully this thing blows over soon and we really get to launch this event, really get it going, because I really thought this was like amazing concept and idea. And I'll continue advertising, so definitely check out my page for that. Also check out my consulting page, AJO Consults, on Instagram, because I also share information on that as well. So just stay tuned for that, because I really do hope that happens soon. So this ain't even really that important or related to a lot of stuff, but a lot of people have been talking about it, and I just have my 2 cents, just two cents about that show, Love Is Blind. Y'all, folks, that show is a hot ass mess. Entertaining them, but a hot ass mess. I'm not gonna sit here and give y'all a rundown about all the characters and all the stuff, because I'm sure people have done it and beaten it over the head. And if you haven't watched it yet, it's on Netflix. Go ahead and check it out. Binge watch, as we're gonna be in the house anyway. Enjoy. But it's a mess, y'all. Oh my gosh. And I can't even remember characters' names and none of that. But first and foremost, love is not blind. Okay? It's not. No. And just the concept, I like the concept of the show. I just think it could have been executed differently, for sure. And people are so superficial and shallow. Like, some of the questions and conversations, granted, I'm sure it was edited, but some of the questions people were asking before they decided they were all in love after like 3 to 5 days was alarming. It was like super alarming. And the couples that came out of it, honestly, I thought 2 of the 5 were like, ooh, you guys have a chance, not the 2 that actually made it. One of the 2 that actually made it, I was like, okay, I see this happening. But the second one, I was kind of like, oh, that was shocking for me. But people are interesting. And what I feel like what I pulled from it the most is people are not real with themselves about what they want. And when I say that, meaning what they want in someone else and what they want for themselves. And that panned out. I think that was a good thing that the show showed, was that people lie to themselves too much. People are not honest with themselves. And then they're not honest with others, right? When you don't feel the same, when things are not what you wanted, right? You need to express that. And yes, it could be hurtful, but it's better to hurt someone now than to drag them along thinking that something is happening that's not gonna happen. That to me was a little effed up with a few of the couples. I was like, but why did you do all that? Like, we can see that you're not into this, child. Like, why? So that piece I think was important, to be honest, y'all. Love is not blind, and when I say that, meaning it's not just about looks, but it's not blind because there's more to it than that, right? Looks are important though. Let's not be out here fooling nobody. Looks are important, period, right? But it's more than, okay, I won't see what this person looks like. Like, there's energy, there's vibe, there's chemistry that has to be there too, right? Regardless if that person is not, quote unquote, your ideal looker, but what's their energy? That might be sufficient for you. You can't gauge someone's energy just by talking to them via text or through a wall, okay, on the phone. You need to be in their presence. And so this is why I feel love is not blind in regards to that. But there's a lot more things as being adult people that should be considered and talked about. And in talking and dating, hearing other people, it's like, what are we building these relationships off of? There's no real foundation, and this is why these things crumble in the way that they do. This is why these things are just disposed of the way that they are. Know what you want and why you want it and how you want it. And if that sounds like work, because it is. It's work. And it's important work though. And if you're not willing to take that work for yourself, then I'm not really sure how you're going to do that with someone else. But it'll help you in the long run, not waste too much time, honestly. Not only will you figure out what you want, but you'll also be able to identify the things you don't want more readily. And I think people they think relationships are these amazing, beautiful, easy things, and they're not. And so you need a proper foundation so you can get through the hard things. And I don't think everyone gets that. And that is unfortunate. And this is why a lot of people are left hurt. Because it's not about just love. It's not about just feelings. It's a lot more to it. So that's all I have to say about that. But anyway, looking forward, I do plan on doing a breakup episode, but like a live kind of taping also outside of the Healing Hope Project. I want to do a breakup one and have people on just sharing their experiences of breakups and their healing process and what they use to heal. I will also be recording with some new folks, so you will be hearing some new voices, hopefully some new mindsets, just new perspectives altogether. And I think that's gonna be fun and exciting. And of course, you're gonna have some of our returning guests coming up in these next few weeks. There's gonna be some releases, and I hope you guys enjoy. But please don't forget to, of course, subscribe, but leave a comment, leave the episodes, leave a comment, share the episodes, email your questions, and I look forward to talking to you all later. Bye for this episode's Connection Corner. I read you a post from Soul Guidance. However, it was written by inner practitioner at Mind Tendencies 2. It reads, "The truth is that you can't heal all the time. You can hurt yourself when you are burned out from healing. Your life should not just be a recovery process. Sometimes you need to relax and be with others. So before life passes you by, let your hair down, go out, and have some fun." Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Oasis Podcast. I hope you were able to find something that resonated with you on your journey. Don't forget to subscribe, share this episode, and like us on Instagram at the Oasis Podcast. If you have any questions or comments, direct message us on Instagram or email us at ajaysoasis@gmail.com. Again, that's AAYJAYSOASIS@gmail.com.